In Perashat Yitro, we see that the Jews accepted the Torah at Har Sinai with the 10 Commandments and everything. Now the main question, the main topic for this shiur is, how do we get ourselves to observe the Torah even better? And Bezat Hashem, we'll see what's some answers, some things we could do based on this week's parasha with a couple of questions. Let's start with this. We start with Yitro in this week's parasha. That Yitro, he heard all the things that happened to the Jews. He heard the Yetziat Mitzrayim, he heard Kiryat Yamsuf Amalek, and he decides, I want to convert. He heard it and he decided, let's go. I'm going to go Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, when he goes to Moshe, we know Yitro he heard these things. He goes to Moshe, and what happens? Moshe tells him. The Torah tells us that Moshe tells him the things that happened, the miracles, Yetziat Mitzrayim, Kiryat Yamsuf, and everything. Question on this. If Yitro already heard what happened, he already heard of these things, and that's exactly why he came to Bnei Israel. That's why he wanted to join. Because of this, then how come Moshe has to tell him over here? Yitro already knows that. And the second question is, we see that once Moshe Rabbeinu tells him this, Yitro says, guess what? Now I know Hashem is God, the real God. The question over here is, there has to be something different when he heard it first and Moshe Rabbeinu said it. What's the difference? Now he says, oh, now I know this is Hashem. Right when Moshe told him the same exact thing. He told him the Yetziat Mitzrayim, he told him Amalek, he told him about Kiryat Yamsuf, he told him about these things, and now Yitro all of a sudden says, yeah, now I know Hashem is God. What changed over here? That's question number 2. To answer the questions, we go to the story. The famous story you all know of Onkelos. The famous story of his uncle, who was the king of Rome. Basically, we all know he sent messengers to go go bring Onkelos back. He was like really mad, like he wanted to know where's Onkelos, and he heard he became Jewish, he converted to Judaism and everything. And what happened was that he sent his messengers to go get Onkelos. And we all know that once they got there, Onkelos told them, he said basically, he's like, you know, what's better? He was basically telling them, why do you think I converted for? Did you wonder that yourself? Why did I convert to Judaism? Why be such a fool? And I was saying, yeah, that's of course. Why wouldn't? That's actually a good question. So tell us. So you're interested to know. And he said, because we have the next world filled with pleasures and everything. And not only that, this world also, we got the same exact thing. But working for a king of Rome, instead of being a prince, someone, or just fake pleasures from Rome, wouldn't it be better to get Olam Haba for observing the Torah? And not only that, Hashem supports you here too. If you go, you do all your other things, be king, you have all the wealth, you have everything. It's only temporary, and plus it's not even real pleasures. But Olam Haba is a real pleasure. And that way he convinced the first group of messengers, these soldiers, to convert. Then it comes back to Onkelos' uncle again. He gets mad and he sends his better messengers to come bring him. Just put him in jail. No, don't say a word to him. And what happened then? They come to him. And basically then, Unculus asks them a question. He says, when it comes to soldiers and everything, at nighttime, back then they didn't have lamps or whatever outside so they could see. So he asked them, who would hold this lamp of fire so that he could see at night when they're going to a war? And they said, and the messenger said that a soldier, one of the guys, the soldiers, they hold the lamp. And then he said, what if there's a general over there? Someone special. He happens to be in that group, in that army. He says, still the soldier holds it. He says back, what if it was my uncle, the king? Would he ever hold it? Was there ever a case that he hold it? He says, I don't get what are you trying to get at? Like, where are you? Okay, he also always a soldier. That's how we do it in Rome. That's how we fight in war. The king doesn't hold it. He said, what's your point? So Unculus answers him like, he says, guess what? Hashem, when we were leaving Mitzrayim, the Jews were leaving Mitzrayim, at nighttime, instead of it being the Jews who were holding the lamp, and so to speak, leading God out of Mitzrayim, Hashem was doing it for them, with the pillar of fire at night. He would lead us with the fire to help us go, and it would protect us. Unlike what you do over here in Rome, you go and you do these things. You protect the king, but over here the king protects us, Hashem. And they also got inspired, and they also converted. Then the third group, the best of the best. Now Unculus' uncle got very angry, and then he sent the third group. And what happened? He said, don't say a word to them. Nothing. And now, as they're going, just says, come with me, no word, just come. And Unculus, he kisses the mezuzah with a little smirk, a smile. And then they say, why are you smiling like that for? What happened? And he said back to them, when you guys over in Rome, when it comes to the palace, the servants, they stay outside, they guard the palace. And the king stays on the inside. But when it comes to Judaism, when you put the mezuzah on the doorpost, Hashem protects you. He's on the outside and you're on the inside. Just kiss mezuzah. And he also got inspired. And they also became, they converted to Judaism. Now that was the old story we all know. And the obvious question on this is, the Romans, they also knew about the Torah. They knew all these things. They knew that the Jews believe in Olam Haba, whatever. Hashem protects them. Why in the world did these things, words that they already knew, convince the Romans, these messengers? We know Unculus just said what they already knew. So what was different? And this is the question we have. And the answer to this question is if you hear something from a big rabbi, automatically it just inspires you. Even if you heard it again, the same exact thing. Let's say some guy goes to you, he says, oh, you're not allowed to eat pork. What are you eating non-kosher for? He says, no, I don't care what you say. Who are you? I don't care what you say. And then so the guy decides, oh, I'll bring you to the rabbi. Let's see what the rabbi has to say. And he tells the same exact thing. Why are you eating pork? What happens? Stops eating pork. Why? What's the difference? Why would the rabbi, he listens, but this other guy, he doesn't listen? And the answer is because you don't argue with someone that's greater than you. It's like, this person said it, the rabbi, this guy. Since he said it, and he's someone great, he's better than me, at least, then I have to follow it. This is what he said, so that's what I'm going to do. Just to give an example, there's a story that once there was a woman who was going on, their parents gave her a shidduch. And what happened is that she was saying, no, I don't want this shidduch or whatever. And the people were telling her, isn't it kivud avahim? Why aren't you listening? And she, being a Robinson, she answers, but there's the halakha and Shulchan Aruch. When it comes to shidduchim, you don't have to listen to your parents. And they said, no, this only applies in a case where it's not a good shidduch at all. And this is good, very good shidduch. You have to listen at this case. You're not allowed to not listen. And she was keep on ignoring it, saying no, and whatever. So what did they decide? They decided to bring her to a big rabbi. I'm pretty sure it was Hacham Ovadia Yosef, and he said the same exact thing. He said it with tears. The halacha is you have to listen to your parents. You have to go on the shidduch. All of a sudden, she went out the shidduch. So we see from the story that basically, when you listen to just hearing a big rabbi say the same exact thing, it just automatically just changes you. Just makes you say whatever. It just makes you listen. So yeah, that's that. That's why it's always good. You go to just tell a rabbi to say the same exact thing over to you. Now let's apply this over here with Unkelus. What happened with Unkelus? Unkelus, who was such a great person. They were hearing all these things from the Goyim. They were hearing them from all these. That's where they got their source for hearing all these things about Judaism. Now comes Unkelus. You're hearing it from a great rabbi. Oh, this guy said it? Then I'm listening. You also see this from Moshe Rabbeinu. Yitro, he comes. He wants to convert. And Yitro didn't have like 100%. Because he was hearing these from the Goyim. He heard it from all the other people around him. He didn't hear it from... he didn't hear from a big rabbi. He just heard it from all the Goyim who also heard about it. And he happened to hear it. So he comes to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu knew this. And what did he do? Since Moshe wanted him to convert, he said the same exact thing over to him. Why? Because that's going to convince him. You hear from all the big... Moshe Rabbeinu, the one who actually led the Yetzer time and everything else. You hear from him? Now I know this is Hashem. Why? Because whatever a big rabbi says, that just inspires you. That's why always if you want advice, go to a big rabbi. Why? Why do you go to a big rabbi? Just go to any rabbi. What's the problem? Because just hearing what they have to say just makes you whatever. Just listen to them. That's why we always go with the greater someone is, the more we want to listen to him. If you have of course we have Hashem, that we follow him. A lot of rabbis, they always say about all these things. Oh, you're not allowed to eat pork, non-kosher or whatever. I didn't say that. God said that. That's the whole thing. Hashem said that. Why do you bring Hashem? Because look, this is Hashem. He's the one who said this. So you can't just come and argue, say, no, I don't want to do it. It's someone greater than you, and everything. So there's also an example in Masechet Megillah, right in the beginning of the Gemara, Masechet. And the Mishnah over there says they can read the Megillah on the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, or 15th of Adar. Those days. Now the Gemara says, hold on, the Megillah only says you can read on the 14th and 15th of Adar. So where does the Mishnah get 11th, 12th, and 13th day from? You can't come, a smaller rabbi, and argue with a bigger rabbi. If you're a small rabbi, you're someone you're a rabbi, fine. You come, you want to go fight against Rashi, say, no, this didn't happen, whatever. You can't do that. People are going to think you're crazy. Why? Because who are you to come and fight against someone who knows much more than you? Someone who's more experienced or whatever. How could you come and go against what this guy says? Well, the answer, we're not going to really get into the answer, but it was really like there's really a Mikorim for them. It says whatever. But yeah, the general idea is that just get all the ideas, just listen, even the same words from the rabbi. This is what it teaches us, that we just have to hear from great people. Now let's move on to another thing. We see this Perashat Yitro. As I mentioned earlier, this is also the Parasha of Matan Torah. Now, what's the connection between Yitro converting and becoming Jewish and everything to Matan Torah? What's the connection? And another question is, Rashi says Yitro had 7 names. And Yitro, why was he called Yitro? Because once he converted, they added the Vav, because his name was Yeter. That was his original name, one of his names. And then, once he converted, Yitro. Another obvious question is, the Torah, in the beginning of it, before Yitro converted, what does it say? Yitro was, it says his name was Yitro. It didn't say Yeter yet. It didn't say Yitro. I mean, it said Yitro before he converted. That's the whole problem. Why did it call him his name Yitro before he converted? That's another question we have also. Another question is, Yitro heard. We know. Who came? Only Yitro. What about all the other people? We know Yitro, he comes. Only Yitro, out of everyone he came. All the other people, they come, they hear it. Now go back to normal. Back to normal. What about Yitro? Right away he comes. Why did Yitro come, not anyone else? What did Yitro have that all the other goyim didn't have? Why didn't everyone else come to run and say, oh, convert me, convert me? Why was that? That's another question. And basically, the answer is that Yitro. Oh yeah, one more question. I mean, there's more questions I have, but one more question for now. How come Yitro worshipped all those Avodah Zaras? We know Yitro, he was a priest with all the Avodah Zarah. He worshipped every idol. Became a priest with every one. Now the obvious question is, okay, Yitro, we know you worship all the Avodah Zarah. Why don't you just stick to one? Stick to that's the usual way. You stick to one of them. You go if you believe in Yeshu, You stick to him. You don't every day switch another idol. One day I'm gonna be Buddha. One day I'm gonna be this guy, that guy. You change who you believe in every day. No one does that. No normal person does that. Why did Yitro do that? Why didn't you just stick to one religion and that's it? Not to change his religion every day. It's a different story. Maybe if he gets convinced of one of the religions, but every day is not normal. And why you have to go to every single religion? What's the point? The answer to the question is, Yitro was seeking the truth. He was looking for the truth, not with what he wanted, not with what he wanted to do, what he wanted to hear, whatever Yitro was doing the whole time. Why was he serving all those avodah zarahs? He wanted to see which one, if any of them were real. Once he figured out all the whole religion's nonsense, he moved on to the next one. He would go to each one to see, is this where the truth lies in? Is this the right religion? And he found all of them false, all fake. This is what Yitro he found. Everything we do, we have to make sure we do it with, of course, we have to always seek the truth in everything we do. And it doesn't just mean the right religion. That's not what I'm just saying. Yitro, of course, Yitro had this thing. But also, and how can you apply something else? You hear your speech, you hear shiur. And they talk about the same exact thing. You look, you say, how can I apply this to what I do? Even though I heard this billions of times. I heard other rabbis say it in different ways. How can I apply it? How can I make sure that I'm following? How can I make sure I'm doing it the right way? How can I apply it to where I am now? This is what it means to seek the truth. Not just the truth like the actual, this is the right religion and everything, this is whatever, and that's it. Seeking the truth also means to also hear, when you hear something, you look to apply it. How can I change myself in other ways? Not to just be like, oh, I already know this already. What do I need to hear this again for? You already told me this. Because when you seek the truth, you look in other ways. What do I do wrong? How can I make myself as how can I get myself as close as to perfect, basically? Of course, we're not perfect, we can't be perfect. We have to try to at least get to being perfect as much as possible. And this is what Yitro is teaching us. Yitro is teaching us, guess what? You have to have this midah to seek the truth. And another question we have is, let's go back to Parashat Va'era, where it mentions the descendants of Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and so on and so forth. When it comes to Pinhas, the one who in Parashat Balak, the end of Parashat Balak, and Parashat Pinhas, we see that he was zealous and he killed the person who went with this Goya. It describes when it describes them as the descendants. It says that that Elazar, who was Pinhas's father. No, it says it says the descendants, and then it says Pinhas. He said, who did Pinhas marry? One of the daughters of Putiel. Who's Putiel? Yitro. Why is he called Putiel? That was one of his 7 names. Because Putiel. What does that mean? Someone who fattens calves for a god. And that's what Yitro would do. That's why he was called that. That's why they gave him this nickname, Putiel. Now the question over here is, we know this is Pinhas, and the Torah is trying to give Pinhas a compliment. He's trying to say to Pinhas, this guy is born from Elazar, who's the son of Aaron HaKohen, and now you're gonna come and tell me Putiel. Don't forget, he was married who he got married to. His father was Putiel, Yitro, this idol worshipper. He fattened calves. The question is, are you trying to say good about Pinhas or is it bad? We know it's probably trying to say good, but why are you saying bad about? Why do you have to say Putiel was his father? No, his wife's from the wife's daughter. I mean, father. That's the question. And the answer is, as I said, the fact that he served Avodah Zarah, it's not really. In this case, fine, yes, he worshipped Avodah Zarah, but his conclusion was to seek the truth. So really, it was a compliment. It was something good. You're saying, basically, that Pinhas, guess what? He married someone who was from the descendants of Yitro. And guess what? Yitro had this midah to seek the truth. So you might say, no, it was bad. Because it does. You're trying to call him he married someone that is the descendant of an idol worshipper. But it's not true. It's true he was an idol worshipper. But the bottom line is that he searched. He was trying to search for the truth. And if you don't search for the truth, 100% you're not going to get to the Torah. Why? All the other religions, they're all, you could do what you want. Whatever you want, it's free. Do whatever. And that's it. Our religion, the Torah, has restrictions that we don't like to do. And not only that, some of them don't make sense. Like shatnez and other things. Those rules, those halachot, who wants to keep them? If there's not even any logic behind it. Okay, stealing, no killing, no stealing, whatever. That makes sense. But things that don't make sense, who would want to follow such a religion? So if you're not searching for the truth, obviously you're not going to get over here. Not to the Torah. There's no chance. Because that's the Torah. It's all halachot like that. Another question we see, there's a midrash that tells us when Moshe was going to marry Zipporah, Zipporah's father was Yitro, we see that at the time Yitro, of course, wasn't he didn't come to the Jews yet. It was before this time. Moshe, he was still a priest for Avodah Zarah. Moshe comes to Yitro because he wanted to marry Zipporah, his daughter. So Moshe asks Yitro, he says, can I marry Zipporah? Yitro says yes, on one condition. Bring one of your sons and designate him for Avodah Zarah. The other son, fine, do whatever you want. But one son has to go for Avodah Zarah. What did Moshe say? Yes, do it, take it. Obvious question. Moshe Rabbeinu, could he come and do such a thing? Designate his own son for Avodah Zarah? How could this be? Who we know is the greatest person of all time, Moshe Rabbeinu. Now he's gonna go give Yitro. Not only he's not even arguing, saying no, yes, no, whatever. No, he said yes, take it. He agreed on it. That's the whole problem. How could you say he's the greatest person of all time if he agreed to let his son go for idol worship? And the answer is Moshe Rabbeinu. Even at the time, he realized what Yitro's midah was, to seek the truth. He knew by the time already he's gonna start and say I'm gonna designate you for this Avodah Zarah. At the time, he's already not gonna even worship the Avodah Zarah anymore, which eventually led to him coming to Judaism. He knew it was not gonna happen in the first place. He saw this midah. He's like, there's no way. If he's changing from every day he has a different idol. He believes in a different religion. Then eventually, if he's seeking the truth, he's gonna get to this. He's gonna get to the Torah. He's gonna get to Judaism, which is obviously the real religion. So we see from here that seeking the truth is very important. Whether it may be that we like what the Torah tells us to do, whether it's not. This is what this teaches us by Yitro. It's something we should learn from. And now, let's go back to one of our other questions. How could it be? What's the connection between Yitro and the parasha or a passage about Matan Torah? What's the connection? You know what the answer is? If you don't seek the truth, there's no way you could there's no way you could even start with the Torah. Because like I said before, the Torah has strict laws. Things we don't like to do. Things that don't make sense to us. Things that go against our nature. And the only reason people today do is because that's 100% we know it's true. And we know this because of our ancestors who experienced the Yetziat Mitzrayim and heard Hashem say the Ten Commandments. That's why Judaism still exists today. But if you don't seek the truth, the first second you hear of this religion, out of all the religions, maybe you'll go to any of the other ones, but this one, because this is the only religion that has restrictions. And if all the other religions do have restrictions, they come from the Torah. Like Islam, they have that you can't eat non-kosher, you can't eat pork. That comes from the Torah. Everything that they get is from the Torah. If it's one of these commandments, but the bottom line is we have to seek the truth. Now the question is, how do we know if we seek the truth? That's our question right now. Maybe we don't seek the truth. Maybe, I don't know. What's a sign that someone seeks the truth? How do we know if I or someone else seeks the truth? And the answer is very simple. Let's say, yeah, of course you have someone who follows the Torah. Now this guy, he's unsure of a law ta'aseh. Or let's say, or an example, let's say Shabbat. He doesn't know if something like this is allowed or not. So, what does he do? a regular guy. Okay, you'll say, what is this allowed or not? You'll be like a little curious for a bit. You'll see, is this right? Is it? He asks a couple of rabbis, whatever. You look, and he can't find the truth. He can't find the answer. Eventually, he's going to say, okay, I give up. Either way, it's a mistake, even if I'm breaking Shabbat. It's no big. So I could come. I have an excuse when I go. I'm getting judged in heaven. But someone who seeks the truth will never stop looking. That's what Yitro had. He never stopped looking for the truth. Someone eventually is going to give up. But Yitro kept on going. He went to every single idol. Think about that. And think about how many religions there were. Probably millions. He went to every single one just to see if this was the right religion or not. And now getting back to what we were saying. Someone who seeks the truth doesn't stop looking at all. He's gonna look until he finds an answer. And of course, someone who seeks the truth also follows the truth. Okay, maybe someone, he looks for the truth, fine. He says, okay, I know the Torah is real, fine. But I don't want to follow it. That's not someone who seeks the truth. Someone who seeks the truth means he also follows it. And that's why this person who seeks the truth has such a desire to look if this is the right halakha, is this right, is this allowed, is this not allowed. It all comes from seeking the truth. You have to seek the truth. And that is something we can learn from Yitro. Seek the truth. Pinhas, where did he get his zealousy from? Where did he get his zealousy to go and kill the the Goya and the Jew? Where did he get this from? The answer is, he got this from Yitro, Putiel, like I said before. He got it from his midah of seeking the truth. So, what's the connection? Seeking the truth and zealousy. The answer is, someone who seeks the truth, even if there's so many dinim, so many rules, things you don't like, if you figure out this is the truth, you go. I don't care whether you don't like it or not. This is what we follow. And that's period. And also, one more question on this. Yitro goes to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he says, you can't be sitting there all day. How could he be sitting there all day? You're going to get tired. So, make more people. Teach it to other people, and they'll teach it to other people, and then you don't have to go sit and judge the whole Bnei Israel from you working all day, just judging them. So Yitro is telling them this. The obvious question is, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know this? He didn't know he's going to get tired eventually? Why? What does Yitro have to tell him this for if he already knows that? And the answer is because if you get tired, you might come to do the wrong deen. You might judge the person wrong because you're too tired to judge the person correctly. This is what Yitro is telling him. He's saying if you don't teach it to other people and you're just sitting there all day, what if Hasbe Shalom you say the wrong thing by mistake, you're too tired, you're sleepy, and you end up just saying some random things. And then for the rest of your life, that person's going to think, oh, guess who told me this? Moshe Rabbeinu. And some other smaller rabbi is going to come convince him this. He's going to say, oh, but this is not really the halakha. He said, no, but Moshe Rabbeinu said this. He's greater, as like I said before. So what we see from here is that seeking the truth means even if it's the worst things, even if it doesn't make sense, if you found out this is 100% true, you're gonna follow it completely. Not what you like, not what you don't like. Everything. And that's what we see from Yitro. Now, just one more question. Let's move on to the 10 Commandments. And let's just ask on the first commandment. Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Hashem, I'm Hashem your God. Simple question is, how come out of all the 10 Commandments, Anochi Hashem Elokecha is the first one? What about all the other commandments? Why not don't worship Avodah Zarah? Why not Kivud Avahim? Why not no stealing, no kidnapping, or no killing? Why not whatever? Why was this Anochi Hashem Elokecha first? Why was this commandment first out of all the 10 commandments? That's the question. And the answer is simple. Hashem is teaching us that if you don't know who I am, if you don't know how much power I have, you don't know who I am, there's no way that you're going to ever follow the Torah. You have to realize my power. If you don't realize my strength, there's no way that you're going to be able to even start with all the laws. This is number one priority. This is what you have to do before you get into all the laws. The laws that you're not good at, or the laws that don't make sense to you, there's no way you're going to keep it if you don't have Yirat Shamayim. And the connection is with Hashem's power and Yirat Shamayim is that if you have to understand how much power Hashem has, and what's going to be your end if you do this and that. And that's what a lot of people today, that's most people, majority of the people, Jews, they go with fear. That's why they serve Hashem. They don't do it because of love. That's the next level. Fear is always the level almost everyone has. If they're religious, at least. Yirat Shamayim really is something that we always have to have this Yirat Shamayim. Whenever we're doing something, we're about to go sin, we're about to do whatever, even if we're not in front of anyone. Someone has Yirat Shamayim, what that means is, even if he's in front of nobody, so to speak, of course he's in front of God, but he's still keeping the Torah, even if he's by himself and everything. That's what it means, Yirat Shamayim. Now when someone comes in, all of a sudden he's only scared because of what this person thinks. You fear this person's power. Okay, good. But do you know how much more punishment you're gonna get from Hashem? Okay, fine, this person. But what about a God? He's much greater in power. He has much greater punishments. You don't fear what God does? And this is the whole idea of Yirat Shamayim. We have to. It's just something we need. If you don't want to make any avonot, you need this Yirat Shamayim. You have to understand the punishments you'll get. And that's why someone who seeks the truth, he always looks for the deen, whether he likes it, whether he doesn't like it. He looks for the punishments. What's the halakha over here? Why? So that could bring him some fear, so that he could serve Hashem better, and he won't go against what Hashem tells him. And this is something that we could really learn. And these three things that I mentioned these three questions, these three answers, the connection between them is simple. With these three things help us get closer to Hashem and follow the Torah. Starting off, as I said, with Rabbi. Go to a big Rabbi who tells you it. That automatically changes you. Seeking the truth. That's something that also is the only way to follow the Torah. And the final thing we say is Yirat Shamayim. This is how we observe all the mitzvot and all the Torah. This is how we get closer to Hashem. And B'ezrat Hashem, we'll get closer to Hashem by observing His commandments and following these ways, asking big rabbis, seeking truth. What can we do? What's better for us? What can we do? And maybe B'ezrat Hashem will have Yirat Shamayim so that we can understand the punishments and we won't go against God, and we'll always see good things in our life if we do so.